Hi everyone, I'm Tanaz from foreverconscious.com and this is your weekly energy forecast for the week of June 20th. June has really been an intense month. We have had eclipses, we've had a lot of retrograde energy, which tends to kind of slow things down, pull us back, get us to reflect. And then we've got these eclipses, which tend to bring transformation, change, sometimes some upheaval, a lot of moving energy that we've been working with in June. So if you've been feeling the intensity of that, know that you're not alone. These are intense energies. And as I wrote in my forecast at the start of the month, June's energy will feel like a little bit of hard work. And maybe you're feeling that, but I always feel like hard work in a sense is always rewarded. So keep that in mind, that this is just temporary. We're moving through these energies. There are some challenging energies, or energies that can feel a little more challenging and intense and heightened, but we're moving through them. We're getting to the end of them. So I know I say this every week, I think, but be patient, hang in there, keep staying in your alignment, surrender. These are kind of key words that have been coming up again and again through this kind of eclipse retrograde season that we're shifting into. But we have some energy shifts this week, which I think you'll really enjoy. The energy of this week is big. There is a lot going on, but there's some really nice energies, intertwined with all of that. So on the 20th, 21st, we have the solstice. I spoke about this last week. It's a beautiful time where the energies of the planet move into a vibrational harmony. The earth is singing, and we can align with Earth's song with greater ease at this time. So even if you're watching this and the solstice has already passed, it's not too late. Go out there, spend some time in nature, put your bare feet in the grass, toes in the sand. If it's warm where you are, go to the beach, put yourself into the ocean. If it's cold, go for a walk in the snow, or, sit with your back against a tree and just really allow yourself to feel those healing, nurturing, nourishing energies that Mother Earth provides us at this time. Mother Earth is always providing us these energies, but they're just extra special, extra heightened at the time of the solstice. So really use that. Spend some healing time in nature this week if you can. Shortly before the solstice, we had Jupiter going retrograde. So we have another retrograde planet. Again, like I was saying, retrogrades tend to slow things down, get us to kind of reflect, look over things. Jupiter retrograde is a little more subtle in its effect, but again, there's sort of this slowing effect. And then on the 22nd, before I jump ahead to the 22nd, let me also say that the solstice marks the shift out of Gemini season into the season of Cancer. So we're moving out of air sign Gemini into the watery energy of Cancer. Cancer, when the sun is in Cancer, we can tap into this beautiful, softer, more intuitive, more sort of home and family oriented vibes, and that will really help too with those beautiful solstice energies, spending time in nature, allowing ourselves to really feel and be connected to not just ourselves but to the world around us. So really a nice little harmony there as we shift into the sign of the crab. Then on the 22nd, Mercury will go direct. This Mercury retrograde has been particularly intense because Mercury has been retrograde in its ruling sign of Gemini. So it will now be out of retrograde and moving in a direct motion. Mercury is the messenger planet. And as it goes retrograde, it sources messages for us, things that we overlooked the first time, things that we need to pay attention to go back over and, and check once more. So give Mercury retrograde, as it goes direct, a little bit of space. Allow Mercury to deliver those messages to you. Pay attention to what this messenger planet offers up for you. And so give a little bit of breathing space around that date when Mercury goes direct. And don't be surprised if you get some information that helps you make a decision, helps you bring a little bit of clarity. Something that you didn't see or you didn't notice before suddenly is like, oh, there it is. Because Mercury is all about delivering those messages that we didn't get the first time. Then on the 24th, 25th, we have the super full moon. It falls in the sign of Capricorn. When I was looking at the chart for this super full moon, it was busy. It just felt like there were so many different, energies and frequencies and things going on. And so I kind of feel like this full moon is going to feel a little bit like a wild card energy. I think this word is too strong, but another word that I can use to describe it, and again, I think it's a little strong, is chaotic. Just felt like things were all over the place. And so if you're feeling any of that, again, no, you're not alone. Try to settle into it. The beautiful thing about this full moon is that it falls in the earthy, grounded sign of Capricorn, and that will really help us to connect, to stay in our center, and to feel grounded, even though this full moon might scatter our attention or scatter our energy. There is a beautiful grounding force on offer to help counter that. So connect with that if you feel you need it. It's also a good time to think about how you can create stability and security in your life, especially if you're moving through a period of unknown, which very well might be the case especially because we're dealing with eclipse energy still. When we're moving through a state of the unknown, we can feel all over the place and scattered. So just focusing on what we do feel certain about, what we do feel sure about, creating little things that make us feel secure and stable can really be helpful. So use that Capricorn grounded energy if you need to under this full moon. Full moons are always a time of culmination and completion, so we might feel that too. They're also a time of release, and under this full moon, we may feel our attention drawn to releasing past regrets, the things that we have been beating ourselves up for, the things that we have been holding on to from the past, maybe wishing we had done it differently. Well, the time now is for forgiveness, for letting go of those past regrets, those past actions that you wish you could change that you can't. It's about letting them go, finding forgiveness. If there's something you can do in the present moment, great, maybe taking action on that, but otherwise learning how to let that go and forgive yourself for those things. You don't need to beat yourself up or be hard on yourself anymore, especially for the things that you didn't know at the time. So there's a beautiful energy there with this full moon too. This full moon kind of feels a little bit like pleasure and pain. I think there's some beauty in it, in that, the release work might bring a sense of relief, might bring a beautiful wave of forgiveness and an opening of the heart. But then at the other hand, it can be hard. It can be hard to, find that place. Releasing can be hard work. It can be emotional to bring stuff up from the past that we're holding on to, that we're beating ourselves up for. So I kind of feel like this full moon kind of offers us a little bit of both, that pleasure and pain, that relief and that sort of, energy that it takes to, emotional energy that it takes to get to that place. So that's the sort of energy brewing at the full moon. And then there's more. The day after or shortly after this full moon, Neptune enters retrograde as well. So that gives us 4 planets in retrograde. We've got Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, and Pluto, all in retrograde. Mercury's just gone direct, otherwise we would have had 5. But we've got 4, so we're in the thick of this retrograde season. When Neptune goes retrograde, firstly, it's a subtle energy. It's not as strong as like a Mercury retrograde. When Neptune goes retrograde, it can kind of be like getting a backstage pass at the magic show. We get to see what's going on behind all the smoke and mirrors. So if there have been instances of smoke and mirrors happening in your life, Neptune retrograde is a time where that might come down for you. The veil might be, lifted, and you might be able to see the truth or what's really going on behind the scenes. That can sometimes happen on a Neptune retrograde, or as we work through this Neptune retrograde energy. This is something we can see happening in our own lives on a global level. This is an energy we'll be working with for several months, but it can kind of help to break help us break out of any illusions or untruths that we may have been believing or operating under. So Neptune retrograde can bring a little bit of that, but again, it's kind of a subtle energy. So lots going on, lots of energy shifts this week. Things are going to quieten and settle down soon, I promise. So with these high intense energies going on this week, even though we do have some beautiful energies to work with, again, really practicing self-care, really, staying in grounded, trying to focus on things that make you feel connected, stable, and secure, whatever that might look like for you. I also want to leave you with something that I read. It comes from Morgan Harper Nichols. I saw it on her Instagram the other day. It's really a beautiful poem that she wrote, and I want to leave it with you. The other day I was playing my guitar and I noticed how the music that comes from this instrument doesn't just come from the guitar's body itself, but from a part I can't see. The music actually rises from that dark, hollowed out place behind the string, the place that I can't see so well. This caused me to pause and wonder, what if it's okay if the future doesn't always feel bright? What if in the darkness of the unknown I could trust the music will still rise up the way it was meant to be? Perhaps the hollowed out, shadowy heart of the acoustic guitar teaches us this. Even when we feel overwhelmed by a future that seems dim, right here in these unknowns, melodies can still have their say. From the darkest place of the instrument, the music plays. That really touched me, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but it was just really touched me, and I wanted to share that. I just thought it was beautiful. We are moving through a time where a lot of us are feeling the unknown, but the music still plays. The music still plays, and what really hit me is when she said, what if it's okay if the future doesn't always feel bright? What if in the darkness of the unknown we can trust the music will still rise the way that it's meant to? I just thought that was really beautiful. I really loved those words. Again, that comes from Morgan Harper Nichols. And yeah, a beautiful poem. So I will leave you with that. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Look after yourselves. Use this Cancer season energy to really nurture, love yourself, spend time with family, friends, loved ones, and just really, create a feeling of comfort and home no matter where you find yourself. I'm Tanaz from foreverconscious.com. Thank you so much.